Good evening. Whenever you're watching this, guys, first off, YouTube's been pumping up. I'm at 470 subscribers. I really appreciate it. Just started doing this a couple weeks ago. Had some of my videos from my deployments on there, so I had a little bit of a base, but the channel is growing, and I really appreciate that. Um, like the title says, comeback victory for the Battlehawks. I have no idea how this happened. This team looked dead in the water for hours upon hours and quarters and all that good stuff. Had like 61 yards of offense for the first three quarters until blowing it up at the end. Obviously, we saw two clutch touchdowns from AJ McCarron, one to Hakeem Butler, one to Austin Prohl, a clutch throw to Marcel Aitman on that first touchdown drive, that 4th and 15 conversion. Where did this come from? This team was dead in the water. This offensive line, which I love this offensive line. They had one guy without NFL experience on there. That was Steven Gonzalez, the left guard. This team was getting bullied for four or almost four quarters, pretty much. Uh, I'm kind of in shock. This all happened so quick. They gave up 5 sacks, 9 tackles for loss. Like this was not a great offensive performance until the final 3 minutes. I mean, really, what happened? McCarron, who I had as my number 3 ranked quarterback, who I was honestly before those last two drives, I was going to put in at number 8. I thought he was playing the worst football he's probably ever played of his career, but he put it together. He started throwing the ball to Aitman, started airing it out. That rushing attack non-existent except for one 40-yard rush, but other than that, they had 14 carries for 28 yards. That was 2 yards a carry, and one of those was on McCarron's 7-yard scamper. We saw some awesome stuff today. We saw a team that didn't give in, obviously. All those intangibles, everything you expect from one, an Alabama quarterback, and two, from a veteran quarterback. And that's what we saw with AJ today. We saw Austin Prohl getting. Sorry about that. Didn't put the phone on silent. We saw Austin Prohl, who was bouncing around the NFL, most recently in camp with the Giants, show a veteran presence from his time in 2020 with the Sea Dragons. So Marcel Aitman used that big body that Becht has been talking about left and right. We saw a defense that was on the field for 76 plays compared to the Battlehawks 40 plays, constantly grinding. Travis Feeney getting hurt. We saw guys like Silas Kelly come up. Carson Wells, a linebacker, playing at sometimes interior defensive line position with tackles. Ben DeLuca coming up and run support. Brandon Sebastian with a big play on the 2-point conversion. Obviously, Feeney before he got hurt. LaCale London sealing the game with a sack. This team only had 2 sacks today, but they were getting pressure on Jack Coan. Now let's move to the Brahmas, right? Kalen Ballage is an NFL running back, and Jackie Patrick, NFL running back, but Jack Coan kind of just looked a little overwhelmed at times. Another guy I like to see was Landon Akers. We've kind of dubbed him this Cooper Kupp-esque, as he does come from the Rams. This is his first, show in the pros really going on. But Landon Akers came out of nowhere. He had, I think, 7 catches. Let me pull it up real quick. 7 catches, 35 yards, a rushing attempt for a yard, and just constant battling back with this offensive line that was getting a lot of problems from the Brahmas defensive line. Former USFL guy Mike Scott with 2 sacks. Anthony Texcata coming up from the secondary position with a sack. Kobe Smith a half sack. Drew Lewis from the secondary half sack. Jack Corner up and down the field, their safety, kind of their Ben DeLuca making plays and whatnot. And we battled back. It was an amazing game to watch. And I think Beck, even himself, just kind of had to get used to being a head coach for the first time. Gradkowski coaching at this level. They were trying to get a little too cute with some, too much motion in this, and they couldn't really run the ball. I do think that rushing attack needs to come out. And we saw it with Brian Hill. Brian Hill hasn't really played much in the last couple of years, and we just saw this guy battling, throw a couple of receptions, a 40-yard rush. This team, you can't say enough about it. And yeah, it's week 1 and we're over exaggerating, but this team was dead in the water and refused to give in. And they relied on those NFL receivers. They relied on a guy like Hakeem Butler, a tight end hybrid, big bodied guy, Austin Prohl, your little shifty guy, getting open on that 4th and 15. To go over the numbers, the team had 235 yards at the end of the game, 11 first downs, 8 through passing. McCarron was 18 of 26 through 2 touchdowns. They lost 23 yards despite five sacks. Uh, really not much going on in the rushing game. 6 penalties compared to the 4 from the Brahmas. But the biggest thing is they didn't fumble. They didn't turn over the football. They had one fumble. They recovered it, but they did not turn over the football. McCarron was still smart with the football. Their time of possession, the Brahmas had the ball for 38 minutes compared to the Battlehawks 21. Like, I know I'm getting repetitive here, but this is just something that this team was dead for almost 4 quarters until 3 minutes left in this game, and then we saw them just blow up. And I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. And moving forward to the Sea Dragons, and we haven't seen them, and they got June Jones and Ben DiNucci, Josh Gordon, so we expect some good stuff there from them. It doesn't get much better. Like, this is how you want to win it. Anthony Becht getting his excuse me, getting his first win as a coach versus Hines Ward. I just feel like the Brahmas kind of laid off the gas a little bit, and ultimately that was that that that's what it was. Like, they just kind of chilled out a little bit, and here we are. We're 1-0. We're 1-0. We got 2 more weeks to the Dome. I'm pumped up. My fandom is showing a little bit. I did not expect this. I thought these guys would be a lot more dynamic, and you know what? We saw that glimpse with 3 minutes left. I think we're in a good position moving forward. I think this team has enough data now to know what's right. That offensive line needs some work. I saw Steven Gonzalez get beat. But you had Mike Panasek playing center for the first time in his career. You could tell that they were a little tired, but the offensive line on the Brahmas had injuries too. Kai Abashir, who was with the Sea Dragons and the Battlehawks, got cut, and he was in there. They didn't have Jordan McRae at center, who is pretty much an all-pro, whatever league he's in, from the IFL, NAL, AAF, XFL, USFL. This guy's a pro football player, kind of that typical fringe Jordan McRae. But we often saw Jack Coan looking uncomfortable. And with a true rookie, which is what he is, because we saw it with Drew Plitt earlier, that's what you need to do to take advantage. And having that experienced veteran quarterback, like AJ McCarron, who's been in these situations in the NFL, in college, has battled, has done all this stuff, and is now, and he was looking a little shaky, and I felt like he was over analyzing at times, but eventually, when the chips were on the line, he made the plays. And like I said, we're 1-0. So that's my breakdown, a quick breakdown. I'm going to give some players of the game out. Obviously, AJ for the Battlehawks. I'm going to give him, a star of the game, like kind of how they do it in the NHL. Like I said, 18 of 26, 190 yards, 2 touchdowns, added 12 more yards on the ground, including 4 big passes, 1 to Aitman for a 40-yard gain, then to Butler, and then 2 to Prohl, 1 on the 4th and 15, and then 1 for the game-winning touchdown. Another guy, Austin Prohl, he'll get a star. One of the receivers, 4 receptions, 49 yards, 1 touchdown, in that big 4th down conversion. I'd like to give a star to everyone on the defense, but one guy I really want to highlight, Ben DeLuca, or excuse me, 2 guys I want to highlight, Ben DeLuca and Travis Feeney. Feeney had that big fumble strip sack fumble, and even Elijah Hamilton, who only had 2 tackles, but both of them were for a loss. These linebackers running all over the field, dealing with everything, doing their best. 76 plays, man, and these guys got it done. For the Brahmas, a couple stars for them. Going to give one to Mike Scott, once again, USFL guy from the Bandits. He had 2 sacks. Jackie's Patrick, first game in a while, 1 reception for 9 yards, and then added 84 yards on the ground. And even John Parker Romo, was with the Saints for a little bit, now obviously with the Brahmas. hitting 3 or 4 field goals, what he thought was going to be the game-winning one. Obviously, missed the first one, but still, all football kicking is always an issue, and for what he did, it was not a bad shake. So tough loss for the Brahmas. Feel like it was, I don't want to say Heinz Ward got out coached by Beck, but he definitely got out experienced by the whole Battlehawks because like a lot of those guys had pro experience from other leagues, a lot of AAF retreads, and we saw that experience kind of come to fruition. Once again, guys, thank you for watching. Battlehawks win 1-0. We got 2 more weeks to the Dome, taking on the Sea Dragons on Thursday. I'll be doing quarterback rankings on XFL News Hub as an article and on the YouTube channel, Analyze and Educate. Thank you guys for watching as always, and have a good